Hey there, Grizel Celtics, or Celts for short. Have you ever thought about what it means to be a Celtic? As we gear up for another big school year, maybe it's good to pause and to think about this. I'm sure you've thought about how Dublin, Ohio is connected to Dublin, Ireland. Dublin, Ohio is named after Dublin, Ireland. But there's more to being a Celtic than just Dublin, Ireland. Maybe you've seen this symbol, an ancient Celtic symbol. Real quick, find out where this knot starts and find out where it ends. Can you see it? You can't. There is no start. There is no end. It goes on forever. Pretty cool, right? You're going to see this knot all around school and on uniforms, on clothing, posters. Keep it in mind as we continue this year to think about what it means to be a Celtic. So the Celtics were an ancient civilization that lived all over Europe, but eventually would settle in what we would call the British Isles and Ireland, Scotland, Wales. So if you think about where you're at today, there you are in the G. Over where the red star is would be the islands where eventually the Celtics, or the ancient Celts, would settle and would thrive for hundreds and hundreds of years. So let's keep zooming in. So places like Scotland and Ireland and Wales today would be the area of the world that we say that the Celts are from, the land of the Celts. You're a Celt here at Grizel Middle School. It's our mascot. We often adopt the Celtic knot as our symbol. And so when we think about the ancient Celts, we have some understanding of who they are. We think of warriors. We think of maybe the movie Brave. The movie Brave took place in Scotland. But remember, Celts are in Scotland, in Ireland, in Wales. So many things in your neighborhood, in your town of Dublin, gives homage to the Celts. There are so many places named after places in Ireland and places in Scotland. So if you think about Tara Hill Road, well, there's a very famous hill in Ireland called Hill Tara. Muirfield, Tartan, these are all words from Scotland. So everything around us screams Celtic. These ancient Celts, who lived hundreds and hundreds of years ago, still have descendants today who live in the island of Ireland and on the island of Britain and Scotland. But the ancient Celts had a culture, and I'm sure you've learned in your social studies classes, culture means way of life. So when we think about the ancient Celts, they had a way of life, a culture. The same way that the Celts at Grizel Middle School, we have a culture, a Celtic culture here. This year, as we begin to grow and learn more about the world we live in and about ourselves, and we start to mature and grow up, it's helpful to reflect on what it means to be a Celt at Grizel. What does our Grizel Celtic culture look like? Well, just like the ancient Celts, who were scholarly, brave, caring, honest, they had grit, and they were creative. That's what we would like to strive for here at Grizel Middle School in our Celtic culture. We think learning is the most important thing. That's why we're here. We want to be brave even when times are difficult. Sometimes this year, school and life will be hard. We want to be brave. When things get tough, ask for help. You're not alone. Being brave doesn't mean you have to do everything on your own. The ancient Celts were caring. They looked after one another. That's what we want to do. If you notice your fellow Celts are struggling, lend a helping hand. We want to be honest and have integrity in our Celtic culture. As a Celt, we want to have grit, which means we don't quit easily. We keep on keeping on, even when it's tough. Sometimes your classes will be tough. Sometimes your peer relationships will be tough. Sports will be tough. We don't quit. We push ourselves. We have grit. The ancient Celts were creative. They produced rich music and poetry. All of us, even though it may not be our strongest part of our life, we all can be more creative in how we approach problems, in the arts, so many ways. So Grizel Middle School's Celtic culture is based on us being scholarly, wanting to learn, being brave, caring for one another, being honest, having grit, and being creative. This school year is going to be great. All of us might be pushed to grow and sometimes put in uncomfortable situations where we have to stretch ourselves and push ourselves. But it's all part of developing our character, our Celtic character.